Welcome to another Kings of War Battle Report, Tournament Report, Game 3, Forces of Nature versus Salamanders. 2,150 points. The scenario was control. Alright, this is a two-man tournament designed for two people that have four different armies, and that's how we're going to play this, so we can enjoy some variety even though we're playing the same guy. Alright, each player has four armies they use throughout the event. Each army must be used two times. Any army that has one must be used in the following game. The other player has a choice of which army that will use to try and gain their revenge. Any winning army may modify their points by 15% before their next game. They will not know their next opponent, but that is to correct any design errors. Scoring will be done by the blackjack system. At the end of 8 games, the scores will be totaled. If the total scores are within 10% of each other, it is a draw. A different scenario must be used in each game. Once that scenario is rolled, it is marked off the list of available scenarios. And note, we are getting rid of kill, so there's actually 11 scenarios. The first game of the event is player's choice of which army to field. If the game is a draw, then each player can pick whatever army they want in the following game. Okay, this is basically the same armies I took last time, but I did use my 15% swap thing to swap some points out. Did drop the druid down to from a Gladewalker druid to just a druid to save some points there. Swapped out the tome and gave the Force Warden the loot, and I went ahead and got rid of the lightning bolt unicorn and went for the healing unicorn. So now with the shroud, I'm actually running heal 8, and with all that high armor in the list, it is very good. I really didn't have to use it because I either got one-shotted or didn't take enough damage to really have to use it all that many times. So anyway, over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed Craig busily painting like a little fiend on a bunch of these nasty lizards, and so this army is his new army, and it's the first time it's appeared in the tournament, so I'll spend a little time on it. It has 2 troops of Gecko Warriors. Their role is to grab table quarters or to be chaff if they need to be. They have 2 hordes of Salamander Primes, which are excellent. One has the Mace of Crushing and has the Effigy of Fire. Both have the Effigy of Fire. So those are to grab, throw some unit strength in there and just to hold the line for other stuff to flank. The Ancients Regiment has the Blade of Slashing and the Effigy of Fire. The first time I've seen these in Craig's army, a unit of Tyrants with the Brew of Sharpness. That is a really good unit, but it kind of pegs the scale as far as expensive. Scorch Wings with the Pipes of Terror. I really like that unit. That's great, and they're painted fantastically. The Gecko Slasher, not such a fan of it, but anyway, looks nice in the army with a big old giant Triceratops. A Phoenix, which I like as a support model. I don't like it for anything else, but I think it is actually a decent support model. The Herald with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness. A Battle Captain with the Path of Fire, and that gives basically the whole army a 1-inch, or it gives the Salamanders a 1-inch wild charge. And then lastly, the appearance of the first lizard man dragon I've ever seen, the Fire Drake, and he has the Aegis of the Elohi. Alright, we're getting ready for deployment here. Just want to go over the terrain just very briefly. All the woods are height 9. All the hills are height 3. The 2 impassables, the 2 big clumps of rocks on each side, are actually height 4. And that has a bearing on the game. All the walls are basically just a height 1 obstacle. And early in the game, we decided that they're basically like woods in a way, so that you could, anybody that has Pathfinder, it has the oh yeah, Pathfinder can move through them easily, just like they would. It's sort of like shrubs instead of it being like a rock wall or something like that. So we did take their impact out of the game slightly with that modification. So I set up with a Pegasus on each end, and the reason why is since it's control, I want to be able to either hold that with the Pegasus, or I want to be able to, whenever they go past me, I want to jump to the other side of the table and put some pressure on them. My setup for on the right side here was the Pegasus, of course, then 2 hordes of Earth Elementals, the Tree Man, the Forest Shamblers, and the four subordinate are all together. Over on the left flank, another horde of elementals and the greater earth elemental are over there to hold that flank. That's their job. And then the beast of nature, it might not even be on the screen, is over there in the corner, and his job is to slow down those flyers that he has, because Craig had 3 flyers in the game, which is unusual for him. Of course, I had 3, but 2 of mine are not very good flyers as far as their ability to hurt things. So it's going to be kind of interesting with the dynamic of all the flyers in the game. So down on this flank, Craig has one of his Gecko Warrior units, the Tyrants, and the big Fire Drake Dragon thing, and then one of his hordes of Salamander Primes, and then the Phoenix, and then the Ancient was right in the very middle to inspire everybody there, and then the another unit of Salamander Primes, and finally the Scorchwings and another unit of Gecko Warriors down there. I think we both had the same idea with taking these 2 little units. Mine were Pegasus and his were Gecko Warriors, was just to, and we didn't know what the scenario was, but we've learned to always have something to in your pocket to help with scenarios. In this case, the Geckos and the Pegasus both filled that role. My thoughts on deployment of my army is that I have so few drops, and I really have only 2 little chaff drops, which are the 2 Pegasus, and they are just, their whole job in life is to hide. Sometimes I'll see when somebody's wanting to punch a flank or something like that against this particular army, that I'm able, and I've done it the last 2 or 3 games, I'm able to just punch their middle out and then roll toward each flank. So that's what's worked for me. And you would think that, that you'll be surrounded, but if you got all that armor 6, getting surrounded isn't that as big a deal as it would be for any other army. And so I kind of like my idea of punching the center and then rolling up each flank from there. If you see my last battle report where I played with the 3,000 points, it looked like Custer's Last Stand, but in the end I ended up winning because of exactly that. Just smashed out the middle and then just rotated to each flank, because now they've got their strength divided right in my face, and so I was able to take advantage of that. So Craig won the roll and made me go first, which I don't like to do in this kind of scenario, but hey, that's my job, gotta go first. So I just moved everything forward, just kind of kept them online. I did scout forward a little bit, but I usually don't like scouting all that much unless the scenario really, if there's a nice woods or something where I could run up there fast, I would have right in the middle, but there wasn't. So I decided just not to do. I did scout, but then I just moved the other guys up next to it on the following turn. So I did move the Beast of Nature up onto the hill, and I was really patient with this guy out the game. I tried not to commit him to fighting a 15 swing dragon. Just did not seem like a good use of him. So I was just trying the entire game. I was just really trying to be patient with him to not sacrifice him like I did in my last 3,000 point game. So I guess I'm kind of tentative with him, but I would like to think that I was being patient. So we'll see how he works out during the game. All right, this is Craig's turn. He moved forward and then shot a few wounds into my greater earth elemental and then the elemental on the right, which I promptly, with all my healed right back up on my turn 1. So that was pointless, but kind of fun. Only thing I saw, he moved his geckos warriors out of the woods there, and I don't know if that was such a good idea. I mean, the whole idea is just I would have just left them back in the corner not to do anything the entire game, because you don't need them for combat. I mean, you really don't need them even for screening, because my army doesn't have any other chaff to chaff him up with. So anyway, that's just my thought. Alright, so this is my turn 2, which is just as boring as my turn 1. All I did was cast a bunch of heals and get rid of all the shooting damage. I see a mistake in this, and didn't really see it last night, but what I should have done is to move that Pegasus that's down here around the edge of that woods, and the idea being to protect him. If I needed to, he needed to take one for the team to protect myself from a flank charge by those Scorchwings, which are rapidly coming around my flank. I see I don't have a lot of speed, so I have to be able to react some way. And I had to put the Beast of Nature on the other flank because of the stupid dragon and the Phoenix that are over there. Speaking of the Beast of Nature, you can see him over there in this little corner. I moved 10 inches sideways. I mean, just with a 10-inch nimble move, just angling. I just keep trying to angle around so that at some point in time, either he's going to move into my zone where I could flank charge, or I'm going to get into if he keeps staying where he's at, eventually I'll get around there where I can take a flank charge. So trying to be very patient with him and not piecemeal him out there like I've been doing the last few games with him. I mean, last game I lost him in one turn, so that was just stupid. But everything's up there. I have a little charge advantage just because of the Shamblers can charge 12. Most of his stuff charges 11. Uh, Not sure what he could really do about it except maybe sacrifice one of his flyers like chaff, but doesn't make any freaking sense. So anyway, have a little advantage there in the very, very middle on charge distances. Everything else is pretty much the same distance. So for Craig's turn 2, he moves basically everything up in my face, and he's going to force me to charge on the next turn. And with my army, I'm more than happy to oblige, especially if I could gain advantage. The issue is I'm going to have to charge basically all the way across the board to protect the flank of the other units. So we'll see what happens in my turn. But like I said, you see where my mistake is again. That Pegasus should have been around the woods there to protect the flank of that unit of Earth Elementals that are over there. So like I said, my bad on it, but I can't take it back now. But it's just something I need to be aware of in the future, is using him as a chip shot chaff thing, so that stuff can't, so those flyers would be grounded, perhaps, and to be able to protect the flank of something else. But only the third time I used the army, so mistakes were made. On the other flank, Craig moved up to pressure me. This is off my video camera, so it's a little bit blurry. Moved up to pressure me over there. You can see my Pegasus, which is a giant eagle, and my Beast of Nature is still angling to try to get on the flank of his army. I just didn't want to get charged any sooner than I needed to be. So you can see this is the edge of actually the start of my turn 2, with the massive charges that are about to happen. So Craig had moved everything forward in at the end of his turn 2 because I think he wanted to fight. So guess what? I'm going to give him one. Over here on the left flank, the Pegasus charged into the flank of his little gecko warriors, and my idea there was just to kind of jam him up, because hopefully I thought we may be getting a chaff fight and I would hurt him. But I think it turns out that I hit 6 times and wound 6 times and killed him just like that. Bam. Really didn't count on that. I did move the Greater Earth Elemental behind the wall there for some protection. Any of those things over there, the Tyrants or the Dragon, would be a fitting fight for him, so to speak. Everything else just made a massive charge up the middle. Learning from Craig in the last few games, I charged my Elementals in, my Big Tree Man, and the Forest Shamblers into just one of those hordes. I thought about splitting up and trying to do 2 on each, but then I thought better of it because of being able to get flanked. So I decided to just go one and just punch a hole right through the middle. The other 2 hordes of Earth Elementals had to take one for the team and then charge solo into those, one of them into the Ancients and one of them into the Salamander Primes. And you'll see where my mistake with the Pegasus shows up later in the turn. So right here is the aftermath of the slaughter. The Forest Shamblers, the Earth Elementals, and the Tree Herder easily crushed the Salamanders. I think I did 24, 25 points of damage. It was bad. And I had thrown Bane Chant too to add insult to injury on the Forest Shamblers, so it was not good. I bounced off the Ancients. I figured I would with their armor 6, but now I was in their flank with my deadly Forest Shamblers unit. The unit that was in trouble was the one that charged over on the far right flank, because now he's about to catch a flank charge from the Scorchwings. And but I mean, I did very little damage. I did not roll very well over there. I don't know, 3 or 4 wounds, which is probably about right. I guess I'm moving so much armor 5 and hitting on 4. So anyway, but you see my plan here is to smash that middle and then start working on both wings at the same time. Because now I am in the flank of his Dragon, his Tyrants, of his Slasher, and really in a good position. Then plus now, as you can see where my Pegasus is, or the Eagle, he's in a position to chaff up those stupid Tyrants. And so I was in pretty good place right here. The only place I was in trouble was the right flank, and like I said, if I had not made that mistake with the Pegasus, I wouldn't be in trouble over there. So we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, this is just a better view from the end of the table. You can see where my Pegasus is. You can't see him at all, but the Beast of Nature has actually swung around another 10-inch nimble move, and now is looking squarely down the lines of the Salamanders. And Greg had nothing, just like I have nothing to do with his Scorch Wings. He had nothing that could deal with that Beast of Nature. I know not to go head to head with some of that stuff, but a flank charge with him is could be really good. So that's where I'm at the start of this turn. So I'm really happy with this turn for the most part, and we'll have to see what happens in Craig's turn. On this flank, Craig set up for an epic dragon versus rock battle with the dragon charging into the greater earth elemental. The tyrants went ahead and charged the eagle slash Pegasus in the front, trying to get it out of the way, and so he could join melee with the dragon. The Gecko Slasher charged into one of my units of Earth Elementals. He had to charge him from the front, which is good. The Phoenix charged into the flank of the Forest Warden, and I never like the idea of using a Phoenix in combat unless it is just like the last thing you could do, because he's such a great support piece, and to use him to fight sometimes negates all the points you spent. If you could have another little troop of Scorch Wings or something, that would have worked every bit as well as the Phoenix as far as for making attacks. So like I said, it's I like the Phoenix. I just don't like ever having to use him to fight. I'd rather have something else if I could get it. So on this end, the Ancients just countercharge back into the Elementals in front of them, and you can see the mistake I made without not having that Pegasus in position. So the Scorch Wings get Bane Chanted and charge into the flank of my Elementals, and they had a wound or two on them, I want to say, from shooting, which I hadn't healed back up. And then the Salamander Primes charge them in the front. So pretty sure they got one-shotted. I know they got one-shotted. Yeah, they destroyed that unit of Elementals. And like I say, it was my mistake. It might have still happened anyway, but maybe in another turn. But it really was. I mean, there really was no reason to lose that unit just because I screwed up with that Pegasus. So yeah, here's the picture indelibly inked into my mind, forever tattooed in my brain. The Scorchwing swooping in to destroy my Elementals, and see how pretty Craig's army looks. Mine looks like garbage. What the hell am I doing? I need to get my paintbrush going on this, but kind of hard to make Elementals look good anyway. Just mine are just basically giant rocks. So anyway, but his army wins just on appearance, if nothing else. 30 swings for threes, anything but probably destroyed the Pegasus pretty easily. The Tyrants went ahead and angled a little bit not to catch a flank charge from the Beast of Nature over here, but I don't think he realized at the time that he opened a flank charge up from the Forest Warden, who had survived the attack by the Phoenix, because Phoenix aren't the best fighters in the world, and the Unicorn. And unicorns are surprisingly good in combat for what they do. Kind of a way, since he is my healer, he's like me charging with the. But I mean, it's too good an opportunity to pass up to be able to, with that flank hanging open for me. So I'm just going to kind of sum up what happens here on the left flank. The Unicorn and the Forest Warden charge into the flank of the Tyrants, and along with the Beast of Nature from the front. And what happens is I get them up to 13, which is pretty good amount of damage, but it wasn't enough because I rolled a 3. And so then they were able to take retribution on me. So they end up killing the Unicorn and the Forest Warden until dying from the Beast of Nature and the Tree Man. The Tree Man had got surged into the flank of the Gecko Slasher, and he was and he killed him very easily, along with the elementals. Then I just turned the elementals back to face the dragon and the phoenix that were now behind my army. Uh, the greater earth elemental, yes, he finally died to the dragon and the this time the phoenix in the flank. And this time the phoenix didn't fluff the roll so much, and so that was the end of the greater earth elemental. But it was right on the dot. I mean, it wasn't like, he won by beating me. Like, he needed this number and rolled it right on the dot. So probably should have, on average, I should have survived the turn, but I didn't. So anyway, so that let the phoenix and the dragon loose. But the most important thing was getting rid of the tyrants because of their unit strength. And I'm playing control. So right now the phoenix and the dragon are only 2 unit strength hanging out there. And you can see that I've got 4 just with the tree man, or 5 with the tree man, those elementals, and the beast of nature. Just that by itself, I've got it right there. And they're able to flex into any of these table sections in order to grab them. All right, so over on this flank, this is a repeat on the other Earth Elemental Horde. The Primes and the Scorchwings charge into the Elementals again, but this time they blow the Bane Chant. And so the Elementals survive, and that's going to allow the Shamblers to join the fight here in a second. The Shamblers had finished off the Ancients and had now turned and was moving toward the Salamander Prime's flank. And really what I needed to have happen was those elementals need to hold this turn so that the Shamblers can get in there and maybe kill those Salamander Primes. So yeah, they got me up to a very respectable 9 on my Earth Elementals, but the Forest Shamblers then came into the fight and went ahead and destroyed those Salamanders. So that's all she wrote for the unit strength over there. Effectively together. And I think that the Scorchwings charge in again, and I think they have the what do you call it? The brutal item, Pipes of Terror, and killed them. I was like, well, crap. So anyway, they were looking down the barrel of a very pissed off looking bunch of Forest Shamblers, so it's pretty much irrelevant. Over here on the left flank, you can see this is after I cleaned up those tyrants. Now I have the Phoenix and the Dragon. Whatever they charge, they're in trouble. I mean, something will kill them. So they have to think about what they're going to do on their next turn. So the Phoenix, to get himself out of the situation he was in, he went and charged into the Druid, and the Druid stood there like a soldier and took it for the team. He rolled a 10. He was wavered, but that's okay. The Scorchwings charged into the damaged Earth Elementals, and who were at 9, I think. And despite the inspiration, he rolled 2 really good dice rolls and took them out. I mean, their morale's 18. I forgot how much damage he did, but maybe it wasn't that good a dice roll. Maybe it's just an average dice roll. But anyway, they died, and that was important because that was some more unit strength there. You can see my Pegasus in the background. He's over there holding that whole corner down just by himself, like a good little guy. So the Dragon, he was wounded from the fight with the Greater Earth Elemental. He decided that there was nothing there that he could beat because there's 2 armor 6 units and that Beast of Nature. He might have been able to kill the Beast of Nature, but he would have easily got stomped by the Tree Man in that unit of elementals. You can see, like I said, the Phoenix went ahead and charged the Druid there to try to get him and maybe overrun into the flank of that other fight and do some more damage to those elementals. But in the end, the Scorchwings went ahead and killed him anyway. So here the Pegasus and the Gecko Warriors have solidified their hold on these 2 sections of the table. It's kind of funny that they basically just passed each other and never fought or anything the whole game. They just passed each other to go take their little corner of the world. So after the Phoenix attack on the Druid bounced, that opened up a nasty charge from the Earth Elementals, because I just turned them and then used the Surge 8 from the Tree Man and put him into the flank and went ahead and destroyed that Phoenix. So now Craig is down to 5 unit strength. He has those guys there. He has 1 in the corner. So I think that when neither one of us had either middle, I think we were tied. But I had 2 on this end here, so I had 3, So it's 3-1. I think that sounds right to me. I don't know why I think that sounds right, but I think it was 3-1 because I had these two on this left side, and neither one of us had the either middle because I think we had the same unit strength in each one. I had the other corner and he had the back corner. So I want to say the score was 3-1, but I might not be right. One of the things that's really worked for me in this with this army is the tree man charging in conjunction with either the forest shamblers or the elementals or both. And I learned that from Craig. Craig was doing it with my Sylvan with his Sylvan kin, killing me with it. So uh, it's hard to prevent just because the tree man could see over, and then uh, the surge from the shamblers or the elementals can sometimes allow you to triple charge things and just like I did, just wipe it out. So that is it's a strong. I mean, if you chaffed it, that's what you have to do. You'd have to get in front and chaff it somehow, so that like only one thing could hit you, or only two could hit you. But to go straight into it, I tried it, it don't work. Craig tried it this game, it don't work. So you have to have something to kind of break up that triumvirate of terror in the middle of the field like that. Um, I was on the left flank over here. I was astounded that I lasted as long as I did because I was really outmatched by the dragon, and then the phoenix came in, and then the uh, stupid gecko slasher was there, and the tyrants. But all I really was doing was trying to fight that holding action. I mean, when you're doing this double envelopment thing, if you can hold against that side, that lets my middle go through and destroy his middle, and then start wrapping back around the other way. And that's exactly what happened. Even in this picture that you're seeing here, my afterthoughts picture, you can see the tree man coming into the picture along with the elementals to wipe them out. Um, so that was a good thing. As far as I don't think I made any huge mistakes over here on the left flank. Matter of fact, I think I did pretty good. So uh, maybe losing the forest warden and the unicorn, but I mean I put 13 wounds on those stupid tyrants. That was a pretty solid round of combat, despite getting rid of two of my support characters. But really, at this point of the game, their job was kind of done anyway, so it was okay. Um, like I say, the middle, when I was able to concentrate that forest shambles with the brew of sharpness and bane chant and the tree man and an earth elemental horde, uh, that was rock solid. I mean, so that one went in and just blew that unit of salamanders off the table. Then instantly I turned. Instantly I turned the tree man and the other elementals toward this flank. I turned the forest shamblers with the druid over toward the right flank, and just started working on rolling everything up. And really say the only real mistakes, I did make two mistakes on the right flank. The one of which I mentioned a number of times after I listened to myself was a mistake with the Pegasus. But the other thing was moving the druid away from that melee, because with a reroll I had a decent chance of surviving that flank and front attack from the Scorchwings and the um, Salamander Primes. And after I thought about it, I said even better. I would have said if I would have left that thing out there, I'm thinking that Craig might have charged the druid to get rid of it. Uh, and if he'd have done that, then I easily would have survived because the salamanders are pretty good, but they'll take a while to knock down all those armor 6 guys. And if the Scorchwings could have been right there in the middle where the druid is now, or close to it, I could have charged in with the unicorn and grounded them, and that would have saved me for another turn or two. So anyway, so there was really two mistakes on the right hand side. It's easy to see now looking back, but in the heat of battle, it didn't seem right. I think I was just trying to make sure that my Pegasus didn't get taken out. Not because it's especially valuable, because I really wanted it to be able to hold a table section. Because after I started playing control, I was like, I got these two guys, they can't hurt anything, but they're really good at table control, which is just going to take objectives. But the other role they have is being a chaff, which I used it for last game. They did a great job. So, it would probably been better move over on that side. I really need to learn to respect the Scorchwings. Those things did a number on me, and in their old rules, they were really good shooting unit. Now they're not really some. I mean, they're a decent shooting unit. They're not bad, but they really are a great melee unit for flanking stuff. So I'm going to have to address them in my next whatever army I play against them next. So Anyway, there was a lot of stuff died this game. I mean, there was piles of crap on everybody's casualty board. Some stuff died way too easily, and some stuff it just seemed like it would never go. Uh, but anyway, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed playing the Forces of Nature. I'm thinking that that's going to be one of my favorite armies because it plays a lot like my Abyssals, which I really enjoy playing those two. Uh, but I'm addicted to all this Armor 6 stuff because it makes up for my incompetence in battle to have so much Armor 6. And I'm thinking that the next experiment with Armor 6 might be with the Order of the Green Lady, using elementals as a anvil and then getting to use my knights as the hammer, which I kind of like the idea, plus maybe a couple of Beast of Nature for the flying stuff and some druids for healing, or with a unicorn for healing. I mean, I could see that would be a really, really good army. I mean, I don't have all the logistics on how to use it yet, but I really think that's going to be a sound army to try in the future. And the advantage of having this unit here, I mean, I use those stupid elementals. They were in my dwarf army. I had some of the other stuff that I have is in my old Wood Elf armies, which convert to Sylvankin or to Forces of Nature. The Eagles and the Pegasus I had, from my Wood Elf army back in the Games Workshop days. I don't even know I made that stupid Beast of Nature from. It's just now it's become it's so crappy looking. It's just become a joke that I use it all the time for whatever flying creature I want to use it for, and just call it out there. So it's kind of stuck on me now. All the years. I mean, I know I could buy a better, nicer figure, but I kind of like it. I think it's a Mana Core actually for some other game, and I glued some wings on it to make it fly. But I've used it alternatively in several armies, which is kind of cool. But I mean, the whole idea of is that like Craig, he has Salamanders, he has Sylvankin, he could easily make a Forces of Nature army as well. So, I mean, that's the nice thing about some of these lists; they're really close together in the fact that you can use models from one to the other. So it doesn't feel like that I mean, sometimes I box an army up and that's it. I never get it out. But now I've boxed those elementals and I've unboxed them so many times now because whatever army they work with. So I just like the flexibility that Mantic has given us to be able to make certain armies work well. And like I said, Craig has an excellent ability to use all of his Salamander stuff and his Sylvankin stuff to make a Forces of Nature army as well. So I enjoy that aspect of the game, is the ability to double use units. Same thing really applies to the men ones. I mean, I use my old Empire Spearmen. They could just as easily be Basilean Spearmen. They could just as easily be Brotherhood Spearmen. You're not tied like we were in the Games Workshop world to something has to be something because of the model. So I mean, I do nostalgia-wise like them to be what I picture them to be, but I'm just love playing the games, and I really, the fluff and the matching stuff not as big to me. I do have two armies that I really do like to match with, and that's my Kingdoms of Men and my Ratkin. But the rest of the armies I really don't. They're not my tournament armies. I just enjoy playing them. So anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed the battle report. This is game 3, and the Forces of the Atchman are ahead 38 to 25 right now with all the scenario points. So, but next time I'm going to have to suck it up, I'm afraid, and play my Brotherhood again and just see what I could do not to lose too many points, because I want to hold my really two good armies, my Varinger and my Undead, for the later games and trying to go for the championship. So, I may just have to suck it up this time and use Varinger, or why not? I could grab something else, and maybe I could. I mean, the idea could be, with the strategy of this, is I could just go on a run of just take the army, take the Undead and my Varinger, go on a run, and then hopefully just win the thing before there's even an 8th game. So that could be a strategy as well. So I don't know yet. I mean, I kind of want to use the Brotherhood, but on the other hand, it's really tempting to grab those Undead or those nice Varinger models I have and put those on the table as well. Anyway, thank you for watching my battle report. I really appreciate it.